guys, welcome back to the Sweet Tea Pod. My name is Brittany.
My name is Jen.
And my name's Ibby.
And we are super excited for this week's episode. We have a lot to talk about. I figured we would start with kind of what THP is. I think it's a good introduction to the segment. Who would like to begin?
THP is the Honey Pop, and we are an online magazine and publication that obviously the three of us and many, many other of our friends are all a part of. And we are all about pop culture.
And the great thing about the Honey Pop is that it's all fandom based. It's a group of over 100 volunteers who are in various different fandoms across pop culture. We are for fans by fans, and that is our slogan, and we live and breathe it.
It's actually how THP came to be. We were really tired of seeing our favorite bands, artists, whoever, be disrespected and not acknowledged or given credit, I guess, within the media for the talent and work that they put in. Actually started with 5 Seconds of Summer, getting the age-old Michael, what color are you gonna dye your hair next? Again, for like the 400th time. So big ups, thanks 5 Sauce for THP inspiration. Gonna put like a placard on my wall or something like for 5 Sauce.
Yeah, we'll just make them like a little plaque, like how they make for like platinum music. We'll just make one for THP, be like, thank you so much for like bringing THP together.
When we finally get like an HQ, like we have like a corporate building, we'll have like a giant mural of 5 Sauce on the wall.
They can come to the grand opening and cut the ribbon, and yeah.
I would love that. I hope they do that. Actually, we need to make that happen.
We do. We need an office building first.
Yeah.
And a lot more money.
Yeah.
And ideally to all be in the same continent.
Well, you just have to come over because majority wins. So
yeah.
The British invasion part 2.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, so now that we have kind of introduced the Honey Pop and what the Honey Pop is, I think it'd be really interesting to talk about kind of like blacklist situations where how do we cover certain artists? How do we decide not to cover an artist? Because I think a lot of people are curious on that and like how we handle it when there are new allegations that come out or things that kind of pop up on Twitter or Reddit or wherever. I guess like how would THP handle a new situation that arises?
I think one of the big things is that we cover so many artists, whether that's big artists, baby artists, artists on the rise, lots of different crossover genres. So there's nothing that is automatically off the table when it comes to that, which is one of the things that I love. But there are certain situations that will automatically be off the table, which is, as you've mentioned, is what we refer to as our blacklist. And I think really it's from my perspective, it falls into probably a couple of different categories. There's like bad people. And I think also there's the other side of people that really go against what we try to represent around sort of the celebration of fan and the appreciation of fandom. I think is a big one for us, and people, I guess, people who have maybe a shared value to what we would have, and maybe necessarily that we wouldn't automatically blacklist that, but it was something that we would probably discuss and then potentially take some action on, of deciding whether or not it fits in our, I guess, like our ethos as THP, of whether we would then continue to promote that person.
Yeah, I think we've taken a pretty good stance thus far by the whole it sucks to think like this, but guilty until proven innocent, because you just never know. And it's I would rather have to go back and say, hey, sorry, we blacklisted you, we thought XYZ, than discredit someone who's been victimized by said person. in any regard. So I am happy with the approach that we take, where we discuss things and we say, these are the allegations that have just come out. What are our next steps? And that communication and us being able to make those decisions, and I don't want to say like advocate for people, but that's kind of the best that we can do in regards to advocating for victims and their voices. And it's nice being able to do something, even if it's just as little as not writing an article about a song when it drops. Even if that's the best you can do, it's the best that we can do. And it's, yeah, good.
And I guess sometimes that looks like a long-term blacklist, and sometimes that looks like we pause until we know more. Which I think is the best way that we can go about it, as you've said. Is it might be that something is rectified, or there's more information that comes out about that, and we would then review that again when that happened. It's never not necessarily a static thing, but it's the best we can do with the situation at that time. And I think also for the sake of our team, the people that we are expecting to write articles or create content or whatever it might be, that we're not asking them to do something that they wouldn't be comfortable with. Obviously, everyone at THP chooses what they cover. They pick up their own article content, and they run with that and create whatever it is they're going to create. But do we want to be putting stuff to our larger team of a lot of younger people across the world, massive group of people? What do we want to project to the wider team? And I think that comes into it as well, not necessarily just from more of a PR perspective of should we be covering that person, is should we be asking our team to cover that person too? And we've got a duty for that.
No, I agree. I think the way we handle the blacklist is really good. And I like the fact that it isn't ever static. We have a list that we kind of periodically go through, and if there's more information that comes out and it's in favor of the artist, then they'll get moved off of the blacklist. If it's more information that's more damning, then they'll be basically permanently on there. But there's always a conversation there, and if someone ever has a question, they can always come to like the admin of the team to ask about it, and then we can explain, because they may not know, because some of the people, even like on the blacklist for me, there was a recent person or group that got put on there that I was like, I'm a massive fan of that band, and I was like, wait, what are you talking about? And so then they were like, oh, this is what happened, and they kind of told me the situation. I was like, okay, we'll put them definitely on there in the meantime until we get more information, because if it's true, I don't want us to cover them, even if I really, really enjoy them and I love this band with all my heart. But if they did someone wrong and they did something wrong, then they should be held accountable in some way. And we can't do anything on that side, but we can at least not further promote their music to a wide range of people, especially because our demographic is like 13 to 25-ish, like 13 to 30 basically. And I don't want to promote certain artists to a 13-year-old, because one, they don't know, and I kind of want to protect them a little bit. So yeah, I like how we do the blacklist. And the blacklist is such a harsh word. It's just the best word to encompass what this is, because it's not a full blacklist. It's wait and see what's going to happen in the future, because we don't know all the information for a lot of stuff. So we can only do what we can.
I think there's probably around 40 artists currently.
Yeah, there's around 40.
Aren't intending to cover in the future, or currently aren't covering, just to give sort of an idea of maybe of the scale of the discussions that we do have, and unfortunately the amount of news that does come out in the industry about artists and how we approach that it's not a small handful, which is sort of, I guess, from our perspective, I feel good about, because I feel like it means that we're being thorough in what we want to put out into the world and what we want to put out into our team. but it's also a bit of a shit situation. There's that many, as we all know.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a good mix of genre types on there. It's not just music. There's YouTubers and there's like creators and there's just like other types of like, I don't know how to say that. There's like other jobs. It's not just a musician or a band. It's a
But
full
we
scope
cover
of
lifestyle, we cover, yeah, it can be a really diverse group of genres. I don't want to say diverse group of people. I guess it is, but it's more so of like, it's not just singers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a whole range of pop culture, basically. We don't, we'll put anyone on there that deserves to be on there. And then we will take anyone who deserves to be taken off. We'll take them off.
And I guess the other thing to mention is a lot of what we do at THP, the aim is to be very collaborative with our wider team who are all part of Fandom, as are we. It's not just artists that we identify as being, or we spot on Twitter that there's a situation that people are speaking about, and we learn about it and we decide to put them on the blacklist. It's that any member of our team can come to us and say, have you heard about this? I don't think that I feel very comfortable, us as an as a publication, covering this person, and then that's a very safe space that any member of our team can come and speak to us about that. And I love the fact that that does happen, and different people with different life perspectives and life experiences that we might not have understood the severity of a situation. Any member of the team can come and say, this has affected me, or I'm seeing this online in my little corner of Twitter or TikTok or whatever it is, and we'll go, right, like it's always valid, and then we'll always consider it.
Yep, it's very, THP in itself is very collaborative and very about the fan, even behind the scenes. It's not just the pop culture news that we share. It's the team itself is a family, and we're all fans, and we're all fans of different people. And so I wouldn't know certain groups or certain people that should be on the blacklist, but so and so on our writer team is like, I'm in this fandom and this just came out and here's the evidence, and we'll like, okay, let's take that on and we'll talk about it, and one, they don't have to write about anything. Like, we don't force people to write about certain segments or certain artists. They get to pick and choose what they want to write about, which I think is really beautiful about THP. We don't have like, you have to write so and so, and it's like, no, they can pick if they want to. And that's just the same with like the blacklist type thing. Like, they can come to us and we'll pretty much chat through anything and try to figure out and come to a common ground on it. All right. So let's move on from that like really stressful. It's a little daunting.
Yeah.
So is there anything else we want to talk about THP that's more happy? So something good about THP that is not fully announced yet, but I am announcing it to the wider team probably today or tomorrow. And I'm very, very excited about this. We will be having a Y2K yearbook type magazine come out at the end of this year, and it's going to be basically the class of 2023. We're going to have a cover star who I'm super excited about, and we're going to have like a whole like Y2K themed imagery and different like quizzes and just fun little things that kind of, if you ever read the J14 magazines when you were younger, it's going to be kind of like that again. But we're also, one of the segments that I'm super excited about is I'm going to be going through every single show that we've covered in 2023. And I'm going to be picking and choosing from our different photographers, like the different imagery. And I'm just super excited to put that together, because it's going to be basically like, this is what THP did, and these are the live performances that we went to, and these are the tours that we got to see. And then also I get to like like show all the imagery that like came from our photographer team, because sometimes they work more in silo or work with me just directly. So the entire team doesn't always get to see like all the cool things that they got to do. So I'm super excited about that. There's some other like fun things that I am not going to talk about yet, but that are surprises. And yeah, that is one of the THP things that I'm like majorly excited for right now.
Yeah, like not piggybacking off of that, but we're talking about good things with THP, so I guess piggybacking, whatever. I love the fact that we have a whole community, that's not even just people who are like a part of THP, like working with like on it with us, but just a community of people who love music, love movies, love whatever we cover, all coming together in one space. I am obsessed with our Discord server. I just love the fact that so many different people can come together and exist. Our sense of community is just something like, I mean, that's what I do for a living. I work in community all day, every day, and it's something that I'm really passionate about. And I'm just so thankful and happy that THP has been able to develop into more than just a magazine, more than just a bunch of people sitting at computers plucking away. Like, we're a community, like we breathe, we live, we whatever. I love that. I'm obsessed with it.
And I think one of the things in the Discord that is my, probably apart from just chatting to everybody every day and getting excited about news and things, is the THP Notices channel, which no context just doesn't sound like it means anything, but essentially it's just a channel in our Discord where we all keep an eye out on notices that we get as THP and as individuals in THP. So that might be artists tweeting about us, or what do you call it now, reposting, is it, our articles. It might be photography, it might be from THP's Twitter or Instagram or whatever it might be. It might be from individual people who are sharing their own work as well. And we all basically gather in that channel to hype each other up, of places where I think we all love what we do, but that acknowledgement really does boost morale a lot of the time. One of my favorite things is when we get a press release from a publicist and it's got a quote from the Honey Pop that is being sent out to all of the publications. And I think that just feels very, we will spot that, we will screenshot it, we will send it to our team and be like, this, you wrote this article, you put this quote in, it's getting used now. I think that's a really exciting thing. If people are, oh my god, I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, edit and put my little bookmark so you edit this bit. If people are, for example, sharing articles on their Twitter and then artists are quote tweeting that and saying, oh, I love talking to you, if it was an interview, I love this question, whatever it might be, it just feels, I think especially when it's one of your faves, it just feels really special. And I think when we've given our time and it's taken from the start of the process to the end of the process, with receiving the press, getting out to the team working really hard on it, we've got our graphic artists creating visuals for it, we've got our social media team getting out into the world. I think at the end of that process, to be able to keep an eye out and go, the artist is engaged with that, and we can send that to the person who wrote it and say, look, like, you've done this incredible work, we've shared it on our platform. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a load of police cars driving past my house. I do apologize. Well, I think to get to the point where we can say to the person, look, we've just spotted this. Here's a little boost for you. The artist saw this, they loved it. The artist management or publicist saw it. It's such a nice way to boost morale. And even, it's one of my favorite things, anything that I've ever done that has ever been seen by an artist. It's just, I've normally get on the phone and I tell my mum, it's like, I wrote this thing and the artist has seen it, and it's just a really big boost for what we're doing. It just feels lovely, and I like the fact that we've made sure that that's a priority as well, because we just want to share that excitement with our friends at THP.
No, I like that. I think that's one of my favorite things about the Discord server is that channel. And it's not used as frequently as the other channels because we're talking all the time, like we're in there 24/7, but it's one of those that like I'm always looking out for. Even like on their own personal like accounts. I'm like, it's like you can share it with us and we're gonna hype you up and we're super excited. Like if an artist reposts one of our photos, or especially like on the photography side, because that's more where I'm at, but like, or they like Toya got Ben Barnes to like their photo on Instagram. And I've already told them, but I'm like super proud of them because like I really loved their imagery from that show. And it's they've just grown so much and I'm so proud of them. But getting that like is just kind of more validation for them to be able to be like, this is what I'm doing, like I'm doing a good job. Like they liked my photo and their article was great. And it's just like I love getting to hype people up. So if it regardless of what it is, it's like, oh, it's just a like. It's like, no, it's not just a like. It's they saw it, and or it's a quote tweet or a retweet, and it's like this is so exciting. Like, and I love to hype people up because it's just so much fun, because I'm like, heck yeah, like you guys go. Like,
Literally nothing compares to that feeling. I've only gotten it like once, and it's so funny to say because it was not like going to a concert as like a professional photographer. I snuck in with like point and shoot camera, like I snuck it in my bra into the concert so I could take pictures of Jaguar Twin. And 2 years later, 2 years after that concert, he came in and liked all the pictures on my Instagram that I had taken of him. And I was like, what are you doing? But it felt so good anyways. I was like, my fave saw it. I mean, I was like, okay. And that was like even 2 years later, I was like, hee, I took that. He liked that. Hee. Like such a good feeling. And I'm really glad that we can encourage question mark encourage highlight, maybe that's the better word, highlight, like focus on like that feeling.
Yeah.
It's great.
and
I
it's
think
definitely a morale booster too, like Jen said. Like it's sometimes like the day-to-day work just gets so overwhelming because like we all have lives, we all have like 9 to 5s, and then you have so much stuff that you're doing with THP, and it's just sometimes it's a lot and it's overwhelming. And then getting that one like or getting that retweet or that quote tweet or just some interaction, even if it's not even the artist, sometimes it's like the publicist will do it, and I'm just like, oh man, that felt good. It's like, thank you. It's just like little validating, and it feels morale. Like it's like, okay, we're doing something good here and people care. And sometimes it's just like you're in the trenches, and getting that one little like notice type thing can make all the difference. And I love that we kind of showcase it in the Discord server because we're trying to be like, hey guys, this is why we're doing it. We're doing it for a reason. You're here for a reason, and we love you, and we're super excited. And your fave also loves you too.
yeah, I every time I think the morale boost is an interesting thing because it is a morale boost if you're the person who has created the photos or the article or whatever it is. But it's also a morale boost from the other perspective of there's nothing I love more than spotting that and going telling a member of the team that that's happened for their content, even if it's not my content, if it's THP's anyway. But I love going to that individual person. Like, who was it the other day? Who I'm just quickly looking at my phone. Charlotte Sands posted one of the articles to her story, and I saw it. I remember just running to the Discord, nearly breaking my legs, to ask the writer to let them know that I'd spotted it, and we send screenshots, and then of course everyone's like, oh my god, the writer is like emotional, everyone's cheering them on. It's just such a lovely, whether it's your article, whether you just get to share that news and break that news to a friend at THP that's happened, it just feels boss.
Yeah, I love it. I love our little community. It's a good one. Okay, so let's move on. So I guess we can have like a section to where we're gonna talk about new music. So it's still THP related, but a little bit different. Let's talk about, it doesn't have to be super new, but let's talk about like something that's kind of been on your like basically your playlist that just like is on repeat, like completely.
I cannot stop listening to Get a Guitar by Rise. I think it's Rise. I haven't actually heard anybody say the group name yet. But it's RIIZE. But Get a Guitar, it scratches my brain in like an ADHD way, and it's been on repeat like nonstop for like 3 days. And it's so good. It's so good. They're so good.
What genre is it?
It's K-pop.
K-pop.
Of course
I figured. I just wanted you to say it.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna look them up and I'll add them to my playlist too, so I can listen.
You should.
I've got two. So I've got May Muller, who I mentioned on the last pod. So it's becoming a general theme at the moment for me. Her album came out and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. It's called Sorry I'm Late, the album. And I got to chat to her the week of release, and I say it now, she is one of the nicest people I've ever spoken to. She was so chatty. She was, at one point she was talking about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She showed us her little outfit. Obviously we talked a lot about the music as well, but she was just so nice, and that album is exquisite. It's absolute pop perfection. I think it came out on I want to say the 29th, so it's like recent, and it went to the top of the iTunes chart today, which just so deserved. So I highly recommend that. My favorite song on it, there's a couple, Me, Myself and I, which is a single already, that's already out, and she performed it recently on one of like the big chat shows in the UK and nailed it. She got to meet Kylie Minogue. It was a vibe, which is so deserved. And a really vulnerable, honest song it's called MTJL, which is Maybe That's Just Life. MTJL, yeah. And it's a more chilled song than sort of the more upbeat poppy songs, but it's really nice to hear her doing that slightly different, very honest storytelling, I guess. But yeah, absolutely exquisite album. So I'm very happy with that, and it seems to be going down a storm. I saw her today that she was signing vinyl records, and she's done this is just feral behavior. People could request her to write anything that they wanted on her vinyl, and I don't know how this came about. I don't know if I want to know how this came about, but she put on her Instagram about her standing on one of the vinyls with her bare feet, because that's what somebody requested, which I just think is hilarious. Like, get it, do what you need to do. That's just, yeah, if that gives you like an idea of the vibe. She's one of the pop girlies. I love her. I'm really glad that album's doing really well. And then the second one that I'm loving right now, it's a brand new song by a very, very new artist, but someone that I'm very lucky to actually know a little bit, and her name is Alex Ray. It is a pop punk song, absolutely immaculate vibes. It is called Thinking We Should Talk, and yeah, I highly recommend checking that out. I'm hoping potentially maybe, should I say this now, should I not, that hopefully we will be able to get her on the pod at some point. She does a lot of Twitch reactions and things like that on YouTube, so she's good in front of a camera. And yeah, I think we'll like her, and we're very excited to get her on and hype up her music a little bit as well, because if this is the first single, then we're not prepared for if an album comes out. I think, yeah, I can't talk about it. So exquisite vibes, very, very excited for that. And streaming numbers are going up there as well, so watch this space a little bit.
Oh yeah, I've already added that song to my playlist, so it's on repeat. It is very good. I like it a lot. And yes, she will come on to the podcast at some point. It's already on our list. So I guess I'll go. And there's this album, and it comes out today, actually. And today as in Friday. It is called I'll Be Fine If I Want To. And it's by Mickey Ratsula, and I went to their show last week, and I got to take their portrait, but also I got to cover their show. They're opening for G Flip. I think there's like halfway through the tour now. But Mickey was originally only supposed to be at a couple of shows, but they were brought on for the entire tour, which is super exciting. Mickey is just an incredible artist. They are just a genuine human being, and I really like them. And I'm obsessed with this album. I think it's so good. I'm gonna read a little bit of the PR from it, because I think it talks about this album so well. So this is Mickey's self-produced second album, and it's taking back a sense of self-worth as they demand that the world take them as they are. So before this release, and even before the release of their 2022 debut album, which is called I Owe It to Myself, they built a sizable audience by openly and honestly welcoming people into their world, from coming out to getting top surgery to struggles with mental health. So I am just like genuinely obsessed with Mickey as a human. You can, if you see them live or you see like any of their interviews or anything, like they're just like very genuine and very like open about everything, which I love. And that's what I'll Be Fine If I Want To is gonna be. I was wearing their shirt yesterday because I bought a shirt and I was like, because I love you so much. But I think one of my favorite songs, it is out currently. It's gonna be the second track on the album. It's called Lie to Your Therapist, which is featuring Austin, which we have I've gotten to interview for THP twice now. And Austin is one of my favorite artists as well. So they work together on it. Yeah, I'm just like really obsessed with Mickey right now, and like it's all I've been listening to. And then like during the show, they play Sims 3, which is on their new album that's coming out. And they, for my show in particular, because the barricade was weird, they had to go up to the barricade to like be with the fans. But most of the time they're sitting on the stage, and it's just like this really wholesome, like beautiful moment between the fans and Mickey on stage. And it was just like the vibes and the energy were immaculate, and I'm just like genuinely obsessed. I was like, I love this human being, and I love the music too. Like the music is just incredible. But yeah, they're on tour now. It ends in Los Angeles on the 27th of this month, actually. So they're almost there, like 20-ish days left. But yeah.
Love it.
So our next segment is let's talk about tattoos, and let's talk about not just tattoos, but like fandom specific tattoos. So let's go around the room, and do you have, I'm like a teacher right now. Let's go around the room and talk about your own personal fandom tattoos that you may or may not have.
Okay.
Who first?
Jen, do you want to go first?
Like first, okay. Okay, so yes, I have two fandom tattoos. They are both Harry Styles related tattoos. I am intending to get a Lou Tomlinson tattoo, but my favorite thing to do with tours is to get a tattoo after that tour to remember that tour by, which is what the two Harry tattoos that I have were from. This is going to be, how are we going to do this? Because it's on a really awkward. So I don't know if you can see or not. And do it this way. No, you can't. Let me. This is going well.
I can insert a picture.
So, okay, yeah. I have two on my arm. So the first one is a bit of a backstory. It was the first fandom tattoo that I got, and it has sort of a couple of different ideas in it. I wanted quite a unique Harry tattoo. Because at the time, what I said to myself was, I don't just want to get the Harry Moss, because everyone's got that. Ironically, I ended up getting that too. But the first one that I got is it's essentially it is a teacup with a rainbow on it, reminiscent of the Drag Me Down music video, with the mug that Harry has in that music video. So it's a little nod to One Direction. it's also a nod to the quote that Harry said, which is fill up your own cup and let them fall in love with the overflow. I just think that's such a lovely, like, self-love type quote. So it's that teacup with the little pride flag on it being filled up by a rain cloud, which is so I went to the very first Wembley show in 2022 when the heavens opened during Sign of the Times, and it was one of the most magical moments of my entire life. I was lucky that I went to Wembley for the next round as well, and it rained again during Sign of the Times, which I haven't even processed enough to speak about yet. So it's a rain cloud with rain pouring into the teacup. Teacup's got the little pride flag on it. And then that's sort of a nod as well to Louis in Little Things, where he talks about you can't go to bed without a cup of tea. So it's got a little thought process behind it. And then the little tea bag label on it, it's got a red heart, which is it was the outfit that Harry wore at that Wembley show. So that was the idea behind that. That tattoo I got in Berlin in Germany after my last Harry show of the first Harry tour after COVID. There's been so many that I'm trying to like distinguish the tours. And I got that tattoo. It's a stick and poke tattoo. And I got it at a queer tattoo collective studio in Berlin by a Ukrainian refugee who had come over from Ukraine and was now living in Berlin. It was just a really cool tattooing experience. I absolutely love it. So I got that, and then I also got, as you can see, this is fresh. Like I'm still putting cream on it. Harry's moth, which is really awkward to show you at the minute. So it's very dark right now because it's new. But I really wanted that, and I'm obsessed with it. It's one of my favorite tattoos that I've got now. So they're my two. I've got other tattoos, but they're not fandom related, and they're actually not very good. So I'm not going to show them. But yeah, I'm big on fandom tattoos, and I will be getting more soon as well, hopefully.
Perfect. Ibby, do you want to go next?
I can. I have 8 fandom tattoos. I'm a little silly goofy. I can show a couple of them here, but some of them are on my legs and I'm not standing up, and it would be really weird. This, as we discussed last week, and everybody who knows me knows, SHINee is my favorite band, group, artist, people. Unfortunately, Jonghyun did pass away about 6 years ago now. And the day that he passed away, everybody on Twitter changed their profile pictures to this rose. So I went and got this rose tattooed as like a memorial. That was actually my first ever tattoo. My mom beat my ass for it, but it was worth it, and I'm so happy that I have it. This is also for Jonghyun. I have priorities. He has a song called Moon. A lot of people, myself included, associate him with the moon. And this has also got flowers in it, which I just thought was really pretty. I'm not gonna lie, I found it on Pinterest and was like, that reminds me of Jonghyun, and then I went and got it tattooed. I have the sunshine here, which is a combination. This is for multiple people, in the sense that it's just very versatile. When I initially got it, it was for Stray Kids. They have a song called Sunshine. That is my favorite Stray Kids song. And it was written by my favorite member of Stray Kids. So it's like extra special. And then my other favorite member of Stray Kids, fans nicknamed him and called him Sunshine. So it was kind of like a triple whammy. Like, okay, favorite song, favorite member wrote it, also other favorite member called Sunshine. Like, let's get a Sunshine tattoo. Those are my first 3. And then after that, I went crazy and got a bunch all in one go. Well, no, that's not true. I have one on my thigh. The one on my thigh is massive. It is my biggest tattoo. It was my longest tattoo. Not my most painful one, though, weirdly enough. But my another one of my favorite groups, artists, whatever, is Mont. They are not super well known. They've gotten a lot more well known after appearing on Peak Time, the show back in January. But at the time, and for the last, what year is it, 2023, last 5 years that I've been a fan of Mont, they haven't had that many fans. And I've had some really cool experiences with the members just because they've been able to develop like close relationships with their fans. And it's been a really cool experience, and I treasure them so much. I love Mont so much. My favorite member is Rhoda, and Rhoda last year sold custom tattoo designs where you could basically tell him this is the concept I had in mind, and he would draw you a tattoo. Actually, this was about 2 years ago now. But I didn't get it tattooed till last year because I was broke. And it was a big tattoo, and I knew it was going to be expensive. But I went and got it done, and I told him my favorite Mont song is Lethargy, and I would love a tattoo commemorating that. That's actually one of Rhoda's solo songs that he wrote and produced. So it's like my favorite member, favorite song. He's gonna draw it. Like, there's a theme here. But I went and got a scene from the music video tattooed that he hand drew. So to anybody else, it looks like just a guy eating cereal, with some random Korean words on my leg, but it's actually, Rhoda eating cereal. And the Korean lyrics are "Today I feel lethargic," or "Today I'm feeling lethargic," or something. I think that's the translation. And then I went crazy and got 4 tattoos in the span of a month, and that was earlier this year. And they're all Fandom. This is a shiny tattoo.
No.
And then I have a crown on my ankle, and that's a Big Bang tattoo. My men right there. Love those guys. And then of course this one I'll just post a picture of, but this is my Jaguar twin tattoo. It's I drew the outline, like his silhouette, and then he wrote the sunshine in my mind. So it's his handwriting mixed with my art, which made it something that was really, really special to me, and I almost cried getting it done. And then nothing will compare to his reaction seeing that. So that's probably one of my most special tattoos, like just because it's so unbelievably personal. Maybe wrong word. Personalized, maybe individual. Don't know. Word
Bespoke.
English bad.
All of the words.
Yes, many words. Okay, I'm done.
Is it me now?
It's you now.
Okay, so I originally thought I had very few, but now I'm like going through a whole list of my tattoos, and I realized I had more than I thought. So I'll start with my Jaguar twin one, which I always forget about because it's on my leg. Everyone was talking about their like Jaguar twin like tattoos in the Discord, and I was like, oh, I was like, in my mind I was like, oh, I wish I could participate, like I love everyone doing that. And I'm like, wait, I have one. And he took a picture of it because he saw it. So I'll post a picture, but it's like a little ghost on a skateboard. It says, all I want to do is zoomy zoom zoom, which is a lyric from the song, and I think it's hilarious, and I'm obsessed with that one line. Every time it like comes on in the song, I'm just like, this is the best like lyric of all time. And it's just like one of those like really silly ones. Celine actually drew the tattoo when we were doing the whole article about tattoos for Jaguar Twin. And I was like, I'm gonna get this tattooed, and she was like, no, you're not. And I'm like, I did. I love it. It's so much. I'm obsessed with it. So then on my like left leg, right above my knee, I have Darling Just Hold On, which is my Louis tattoo that I'm obsessed with. Like I just like looking at it because it's just like it's kind of just there to be like, hold on, it's all gonna be fine. It was, well, when I think about my Phantom tattoos, that's kind of the one that I really think about more just because I see it all the time. It's on my leg. I don't know if I consider this one a Phantom tattoo, but it is what it is. And Louis does have that. But it's on my other leg under my knee. But that is a saying that I also say a lot. like, if anyone knows me in person or has seen me at work, I say it is what it is a lot. And so I got it tattooed finally because I was just like, this is me in a nutshell. And then some of the ones that I forget about because I just don't think about them as like fandom tattoos, but they really are my One Direction tattoos. Because I was like, oh, do I have any One Direction tattoos? I was like, yes, I do. Okay, so I have the chevrons that Liam has, but I have all 5 of them. So I have that here. I do have a Harry Potter one right here, so that's also considered fandom. But it's a time turner. Then I don't know if I can show it on here. It's like, whoop. So I have Made of Lightning right here, which is a One Direction. It's from Girl Almighty. And my tattoo artist at the time was like super excited about it because he asked if he could freehand it. So you see like the lightning bolts coming off of the letters, and that's what he did. He's like, can I do that? I was like, yes, do it. Thank you. So those are my 2 One Direction ones. Trying to think if I have any others. Oh, I have a Cheshire cat on the back of my arm. Which I guess is kind of fandom related. I don't know. It's like pop culture related. So it's Alice in Wonderland. It kind of ties into, like, I don't really consider it a Taylor Swift tattoo, but Wonderland is one of my favorite songs by her. That was one of my surprise songs for the show that I went to, and I was like, she knew I was in that audience. Like she just had that sense of like, Brittaney is here, I gotta play this song. So I don't really consider it like Taylor Swift, but it is kind of still Taylor Swift-esque because like it's that whole theme. I'm trying to think. I did get this like, oh god, this clover. It was for a band called Emarosa. I don't think we cover them for THP, unfortunately, because of things. So it's not like the best that I have that, but it's still there. And then I do have this little ghost. And I kind of consider that to be my Water Parks tattoo. Because Water Parks is one of my favorite bands of all time. And they have like one of their cover arts is like 3 little ghosts. So I have like one. But yeah, I can kind of consider that to me like my Water Parks-esque tattoo. And I think that's all I have. I'm thinking now.
I
I think I'm
completely forgot my Louis Tomlinson tattoo, and you saying your darling just hold on reminded me. But I have it's on my arm. I see it every day. I forget that it's there, but it's right here. This is my Louis tattoo.
I
Louis
love that.
girl for life.
There's a theme here, isn't there? Yeah.
There
Just
is
a
a
little.
theme.
Just a little.
I need to
Oh
get
my
my
God, I don't have a
tattoo.
5 sauce tattoo.
I don't either. I have paid for my 5 sauce tattoo. I just don't have it yet. I gotta go back to my tattoo artist and be like, hey, can I actually get that tattoo? But it's that Bad Omens one that Celine drew for the tattoo article as well. The one that I like asked her to make. So it's a skull with like flowers coming out of its mouth. And then it's gonna have like the lyric for Bad Omens around it. Because that's I think that's one of my top favorite songs from like their recent like era. It's just a good song, dude. It's a vibe. I think
I
that's
will
all
say,
I
going on about fandom tattoos, I am a pathological liar about my tattoos, and it's one of my favorite things. I love making shit up when I go to concerts and being like, yeah, this is a tattoo for XYZ. It's one of my favorite things. So oftentimes at 5 sauce shows, I say this is my rose tattoo that I keep covered because I wear long sleeves everywhere. And I also told someone this was not my finest moment. I'm not gonna lie to you. I told someone that this tattoo was a combination of 2 songs for the band In Flying when I saw them back in January, which In Flying is one of my favorite like K bands. Like I love them. I've been a fan of them since they debuted in Japan, before they debuted in Korea. Like, I love N-flying. I don't have an N-flying tattoo, but I just like seeing what I can get away with. So I just make things up and see how far like I can go before someone's like, wow, what the hell? And that's my, I can make my tattoos mean anything. I can make them mean anything I want. Also, my ankle tattoo, the crown. When I got it, I was in Las Vegas at a music festival, and I had gotten to spend a bit of time with the band King Falcon. And I happened to get that tattoo the day after we spent a significant amount of time like chatting with each other. And their manager was like, "That's for King Falcon, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is." And so there's a picture of me with my leg hoisted in the air. I think I talked about this last week, actually. Like, of my leg hoisted in the air with them pointing to my crown tattoo. So it's also a King Falcon tattoo. But it also kind of looks like the Fall Out Boy like crown. Like, so like it was just a splash sheet, but versatile.
It's very versatile, and you can make it. I think that's what I like about certain fandom tattoos. You can make them so not obvious that like you can have other meanings to it. Like, yes, it's like I got it because of this artist, but also this artist had this come out and it kind of ties into it, and I love them too. So it's like my Cheshire Cat, it's a flash tattoo. It was for Friday the 13th, but I love Taylor Swift's Wonderland song, and it's kind of Alice in Wonderland themed, so I kind of tie that in because it was kind of a one-off like random tattoo that I got. But I like to tie certain things in because it makes it a little bit more meaningful. And then I have other tattoos that have zero meaning whatsoever. I have a donut on my arm, so like, I mean,
I love the donut on your arm.
it's
one of my favorites of your tattoos.
It's one of my favorites. Donut kill my vibe. Like,
but I think
that's me.
I'm very much, tattoos don't need to have a meaning. If they're just fun, put them on your body, do whatever. But it's fun when you realise that you can tie in. I was thinking then when you showed yours that your Clover could be a Louis tattoo as well.
Yeah.
Because it looks like a club playing card, which he has. I was thinking, I was like, ooh, there's another link there. I've got two more I'm going to be getting. I'm going to get Louis' smiley face that Ibby's got. Which I think I'm going to do. I'm not going to put my hand up entirely because I don't have my nails aren't done and they look a mess. But I'm going to get it on my middle finger just because, obviously. Yeah, obviously. Of course. And then we'll very soon be getting, and it's going to somewhat match with my sister, a red heart balloon for Matilda from Love on Tour, because it was, that song's really very deeply personal, and I took my sister to see Harry for the first time that she's ever seen him, and we got that moment together, and it was a very healing moment for both of us, I think. And the balloons releasing, I'm not a fan of people releasing balloons. It's an environmental nightmare. Nevertheless, it was one of the most breathtaking moments it was just impeccable. It was biblical, and I will be getting that. She's already got hers, but I got the moth instead. So we both got Harry tattoos done at the same time. But I will be following up with the heart balloon quite soon when I have any money once again, because it's been a rough month, to be honest. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. But I'm a big fan of fandom tattoos. I know that people might say negative things about them, but people say negative things about fandom in general, so you can't please some people, and I'm not particularly inclined to feel a need to please people, so I'm gonna adorn my body with things that bring some level of joy in. I think it's hard to find joy in things sometimes, and if you can find one thing that does, lean into it. And I think people always ask the question, but what if the person does something like horrendous, and then you've got, but it's not just for the person, it is for the person, but it's not the only reason. It is for how you felt with whatever experience you've got with that person. Like my Love on Tour tattoos they are obviously about Harry Styles. I'm obsessed with Harry Styles. I love the man, but it's also about the experience that I had on that tour, and I guess the thing that Love on Tour served me through COVID. It was the one thing that I had to look forward to. And I think that played a very big part in how I coped, because I'm a carer for both of my parents. We locked down hard. at me at like late 20s with two sort of older and disabled parents. It was just me. And I think having the promise of looking forward to that played a massive part in my mental health. And regardless of who did that tour, I mean, it wouldn't be the same if it wasn't him. I'm not gonna whatever, but it's what it meant to me as well. And I wanted to sort of immortalize that too. And like the balloon one that I'm gonna get, it's immortalizing what that song meant to me and to hear it live. So even if someone, I'm not saying Harry Styles is about to do something horrendous. I mean, he just goes about singing his little songs and dancing his little dances and whatever. But say something was to happen with any of our faves tomorrow, that doesn't necessarily take away how you felt in that moment. So I might go, oh God, like I've got this tattoo and now this person's done X, Y, and Z. But at the same point, I will still always, till the day I die, remember the experience of why I decided to get that tattoo. So that side of it doesn't bother me at all.
Especially since we've already talked about how, like, I mean, Brittany with your Cheshire tattoo can be Taylor Swift, and me with like most of my tattoos except for like 2 could be for other people. It's so versatile. Like, unless you're getting their face tattooed, like it doesn't really matter. Because if you're like, say somebody does something horrible and you're like, oh, I don't want to tell people that's why I got this tattoo, you can just say it's for something else. You can even tell yourself it's for something else. It can become for something else. It doesn't have to stay like being for what you initially got it for. If that person makes you happy at that time and then they do something really crappy and you're like, okay, well, I also kind of thought it was for this too, so like I guess it's okay. It's okay. And even if you don't think like that, it's still okay. Like, you don't have to feel
and
bad.
you're not answerable to other people anyway. So
Exactly.
say you can lie and say that it's not about that. You can say, yeah, I regret it because they did X, Y, and Z. You can say, I don't regret it, I still had an amazing time. Or you can also just say, it's actually none of your business, so it doesn't matter either way.
I mean,
Sorry.
oh no, you're good.
No, you go.
But like my Clover tattoo is for a band that potentially has not like full allegations, but like there's a little bit of drama that I don't know the truth of. So they're not like blacklisted, but they're like also not someone that I'm like listening to actively, just because of there's some rumors that kind of went around and I kind of believe them, but there's no evidence and proof, and so it's not like the greatest. But I mean, I got that for that band, but it also is so versatile and different that I also can pertain it to Louis Tomlinson, or I can pertain it to someone else, or I can just pertain it to, it's a clover and it fit on my arm. It just fit on my, like, where it is located on my arm. Like, it doesn't have to be anything. Like, I like to have meaning for a lot of my tattoos, and that's how they started. When I first started, every single tattoo on my list had a meaning, and it was very specific, and it was about me, and it was about like things that have happened to me or how I felt. But it's like, as I've gotten older and I've gotten more and more tattoos, some of them are just silly and fun and goofy, and I like them. I have my patchwork sleeve that I'm working on that's just pop culture related, or things that I just love. And I think that is a beautiful way to look at your tattoos, of it's just things that you love and things that bring you joy. And if something does happen in the future where that person kind of comes off of a pedestal a little bit, then I don't think it's bad to even say that that was for them, because at that time they were your favorite for a reason, and that was your favorite song or your favorite group or your favorite experience that you had. And that's just all it is. Like, it doesn't matter that this person turns out to be not a great human being. I mean, you can't control that. So I think it's just, I love fandom tattoos. I think people are so creative about them too. Like, they come up with some really cool concepts, and I'm like, dang, I wish I was creative like that.
it reminded me of so Louis Tomlinson's European UK tour is started now, and we've got him coming to the UK next month. And the opening artist for, I think she's doing all of the UK tours. I might be wrong. She's definitely doing some of them. She's doing some of my shows. Her name's Rachel. She's an incredible alternative artist. But she, very ironically, with absolutely no relation to Louis Tomlinson, got Louis Tomlinson's smiley face tattoo a long time ago, with no sort of intention that it was related to Louis. And then I don't know if she like tweeted it or Instagrammed it, and somebody pointed it out. And then I think she rizzed a little bit and ended up saying to her team, like, you need to get me on this tour. And now she's going on that tour. But it all sort of stemmed, obviously she's very talented. I'm not saying it stemmed because she had a tattoo of whatever. But the conversation opened a little bit because she's got the exact same tattoo without realizing that that's what it was. Which I think is just, I love the way that things work out like that. That's such a slay. But again, it changed the meaning of it very quickly. It was just a smiley face tattoo with X eyes. But now it's like, I toured at this artist. And I think that's just so sick. I think it's really cool. But yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. So go listen to her music as well. We will put that on our playlist.
Yeah, we'll
just
put that
different
on
artist names, like, yeah.
Okay. So, do we have anything else to say about fandom tattoos?
I think it goes a little bit to just the discussion around fandom in general and fangirls in general. Is I think a lot of the negativity around it is actually rooted in misogyny.
Oh, 100%.
Because so many people, if you take someone with I don't know, the shield of a football club or a soccer club or whatever you want to, any sort of sport team thing, you don't really hear of many people saying that that's a stupid thing. But then take one of the girls with a 1D or a 5 sauce or a Taylor Swift tattoo, and it's silly, and you're going to regret that, and actually just let people live their lives and enjoy what they want to enjoy. And it goes back to not even just tattoos, but everything to do with, oh, you've been to see that concert more than once. Well, yeah, but you hold a season ticket for a sports team. How is it
any different?
It's one rule for one rule for another. And I think this sort of topic plays into that too, because I've had many and I've only got 2 fandom tattoos, but I've had many a comment that is quite sort of dismissive of, oh, what a silly thing to do. Oh, and I'm like, actually, I worked hard to get the money to go to those concerts, and I worked hard to get that tattoo. And it's not your business, but also I love it, and that's all that matters. Yeah, it's a part of the conversation that we could talk about for days, but
oh, for sure. I mean, my mom got a Houston Astros, like the Houston Astros like emblem. She got it tattooed recently, but she only got it recently tattooed because she was talking to this guy and he had a sleeve that was the Houston Astros, which is a baseball team here. And I'm like, so you can have an entire sleeve about a baseball team, and you have like the number of one of the like team members, whatever. I'm not a sports girly really, but it's like he has like the jersey like tattooed on his body, and then you have the audacity to tell me that my fandom tattoo is weird and I'm gonna regret it, when that man is not gonna be on the team forever. He could get traded at any point in time, and now he's no longer with the Astros. I'm like, okay, come on. Do you not see the fact that this is like we're the same? Like, you are also a fan.
Yeah, that's it. A sports team tattoo is a fandom tattoo. You just don't want to call it that because it's like, oh, I'm not being boxed in with the crazy Taylor Swift fans or whatever it is. There's no, you're not different because you are a sports team supporter than if you were a One Direction fan or a BTS fan or whatever sort of fandom we want to pick from. You just want to categorize it differently because you don't want to be boxed in with like those crazy fangirls. And
I mean, they can't
over it
too. So I'm like, you still can't for tickets. You still are online waiting for tickets to drop. It's the same concept of an actual performance. And we are seeing someone actually perform. I mean, you are also seeing someone perform, but they're performing as a team. They do have an end goal, but like we are watching an actual performance of someone's artistry. And you have the audacity to say this is not the same. I'm like, but you do the same things that we do. You wait for tickets, you get your merch, you get your stuff, you get your popcorn and your drinks, and you sit down in the arena or stadium and you watch people do things on the ground.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
That's something that has killed me. This person that I'm mentioning has never said anything to me, but it's just the principle. I know someone who travels across the country at least 3 or 4 times a year to go see a sports team. But then I go to New York for a concert and I'm crazy, or I go to California to see a band and I'm insane, or like it doesn't, like I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Or I go to Madrid to see a K-pop group and I'm nuts. Like okay, the Madrid one was a little crazy. That one was a little bit crazy. But it's the same thing. It's the same. That's like going to the World Cup. Like
literally,
so many people travel across the world to go to the World Cup, and nobody says a word. They're like, "Oh, okay, World Cup. That's a big deal."
Yeah.
Why is it?
And then, sorry, we keep doing that. My fault.
No, you're good. Go for it.
I think just with the mention of the World Cup, because so Liverpool is a big football city. We've got a very quite well-known football team, and the amount of times it's in the newspapers of like, if your team doesn't win a sports game, tournament, whatever you want to call it, the amount of reports of like violence and riots and God knows what because people don't like the outcome of that. If Harry Styles didn't sing Medicine at my gig, I'm not about to go out and break a window because of it, but I'm the crazy one. I don't understand the logic of that. It's just misogyny.
It is.
And it drives me mental.
Oh, same. It frustrates me. But like if you think about like other sports teams that aren't just in your city, like Formula One they travel to like these racetracks. So it's not, they're not coming to Texas. I mean, they are now because there's a racetrack now, but like they're not coming to Houston. They're going to Austin, so you have to travel. I think the only other track in the US is Las Vegas. Otherwise, they're all like European and Asia, like all like everywhere else. I'm like, that's where you would have to travel to see a Formula One race. And I don't call y'all crazy for doing that. I can still stay in my own city and see my favorite artist. I don't have to travel. I mean, I do because I like it. It also gives me an excuse to travel and see the world. Like, do you think people just go to go to the shows? Like, they also go to see other parts of the world because it's giving them an excuse to do it. Just like when you're traveling for your sports team, it's giving you an excuse to go to New York or wherever you're going, wherever they're playing. You can now go and like see that city that you would have never really thought to go to until that person either played or that team went for an away game or whatever, like, or the Super Bowl happened there, like wherever. Like, I'm like, we are all the same, guys. Like, do you not realize that we are literally all just human beings who just like to watch people perform and like either musically, dancing, or sports?
Yeah.
Okay, so our next segment is gonna be a little fun one. And it's gonna be all about like our dream like festival like group, like touring group, I don't know, whatever. Like, what is our best lineup that we could come up with that we want to see like in the future?
Okay.
Who wants to start? Jen, do you want to start?
Yeah, okay. I've also tried to think about the order that they would go in.
Okay.
So I've gone, opening slot is Ash. I think she is a perfect opener. She's got a really good mix of music. She's not making music at the moment, but so I've seen her once and then she didn't tour again. So I'm hoping if Ash comes back, we're kicking off with Ash. I'm absolutely obsessed. I think she's incredible. And also, if Niall Horan is lingering backstage, they could do their song together, is one of my thoughts. So we're going from Ash. Then we're going McBusted, which is the McFly and Busted supergroup. They're incredible live. Busted are on tour right now, and I'm so angry I didn't get a ticket. I can't even begin to tell you. My also logic there, see, there's a theme here, and I didn't realize I was doing this, where it can keep linking back to One Direction. But if One Direction members and McFly are there, they could do some of the songs that they wrote together, which would just be impeccable. So McBusted together, little super group doing a set. Then Only the Poets, if the festival is accessible and they have not picked somewhere that the wheelchairs cannot get into. Then I've gone a little bit left of centre here with just an absolute queer extravaganza of. So I've written Kylie, Cher, and Elton John. I want like a little, not a little, I want a massive set between the three of them. I mean, obviously they're not going to share a set because each of them will have their own, but give me like Eleanor's piano, give me Kylie doing Padam Padam, Cher doing anything that Cher wants to do. That would be like life. And then I'm finishing off somewhat, but it's not really finishing off. This is a way of me cheating, of getting more artists, is all the members of One Direction solo, all 5 members. And then they all have their own slot, and then they come together at the end and do some songs together. I'm not calling for full-blown reunion. I think I absolutely love supporting them all separately, but a couple of songs together at the end, please. And then my life will be complete, and I will have done everything that I ever wanted to do by seeing that, because I didn't see One Direction when they were together, which don't even talk to me. I was a fan, but I was also 18 and had very different priorities of fandom at the time. So it's one of the biggest regrets of my life. And yeah, that would finish the tour. That would be the closer. The fireworks would go off, and the security would have to remove me from the festival site. So that is my plan. It's Ash, and then McBusted, Only the Poets, queer extravaganza of Kylie, Cher, and Elton John, and then One Direction all together and solo to close out the festival. Dream lineup. I couldn't get any better.
I love that. I'm obsessed. Should I go next? Okay. So this is not in order because I don't know if I can put them in order. But I'm just gonna go, and I would love to see, and this is chaotic, so I'm so sorry. Like, this is very chaotic. Like, these genres don't really mesh very well. But it's fine because it's my music taste. So Mickey Ratsula, I think they would be incredible on a festival, like, chef's kiss. I just saw Mr. Wives last night. Literally insane. I have never seen a show like that before. Like, I was like, what is going on? So much energy, like, between the artist and the crowd. Even like the crowd was high energy, so I want to see that on a festival. Because the way that she commanded those fans, like, you know how like when you say like, oh, like everyone go down, and like a lot of people don't go to the floor. Well, everyone was on the floor and then jumped up. Like, never seen that before in my life. Insane. Great. So, Renee Rapp, because I adore her. Jaguar Twin. I want to see Jaguar Twin on a festival grounds. Honey Revenge. So Water Parks and Honey Revenge are my like pop punk people that I had to put in there, because they deserve everything. Honey Revenge is like, I've never seen them live yet, but like I've seen like the videos, and like their debut album is like repeat central for me. And then I also cheated just like Jen, and I want 1D solo. And I want them to come just for a few songs if they can and they want to. I would really like just a few, just a little bit. And then also Jonas Brothers, just because I like them. Also, let them do some of their solo stuff. Not Jealous by Nick Jonas. He needs to do like something else.
I want Who I Am. I want Who I Am bad.
I want Nick Jonas in the administration. Okay, I changed my answer. Nick Jonas in the administration, and I want Joe Jonas Fast Life. Okay, good. I'm done.
Right.
Please, if that ever happened, I will. You guys know I will be deceased. So sorry. I love you guys. I will be in the ground. If they ever perform any of those songs, I will. I don't know if I can survive that actually. But yeah, so that's my list. Very chaotic. A lot of people were left off of that list because I only had a few that I could do, but I did cheat a little bit and put groups on there. But that's fine.
Mine are all K-pop. Because I feel like most of, if not all of the Western artists that I like, I've already seen. And I tried very hard to go with artists that I have not seen before, because I was telling Britt and Jen that I have already been to one of my dream festival lineups, which was SHINee, ATEEZ, Gravity, the Enhypen, IVE, Stacy. Like, that was a crazy concert. That was a really good concert. So I tried very specifically to go for artists that I had not seen before. And mine are also in order, sort of, because I couldn't decide on some of them. First would be 50/50. Their music is so good. I hope that this lawsuit that they're going through goes in their favor, because I want to see them live so bad. So bad. I could talk about that lawsuit for hours. I will not, because this is not the place. But number 2 is Zero Base One. I am in love with Silk Matthew. If I don't see him before Zero Base One disbands, I'm going to die. I was fortunate enough to see 101 before they disbanded. I need to have that same fortune with Zero Base One, or I'll die. Next up is The Boys. Despite them coming to Atlanta once or twice now, I still have not gotten to see them. Desperately would like to. I need to see Jacob Bay in person before I die. Next up is Astro. I don't feel like I need to say anything with that. I have wanted to see Astro. I've been a fan of theirs for 9 years. Is that right? Is that math, or is it 7? I don't know. I love Astro. I love Astro so much. They debuted in 2016. I can't do math. That's 7. But I love them so much. Unwoo is the love of my life, and I need to see him in person, or I'll die. There's a theme. There's a theme. Up next is Winner. They've been around for a hot minute, and I have not gotten the chance to see them. They've never been to Atlanta. And when they did come to the States, I was not in the position to travel to go see them. Unfortunately, I love them. I love their music. And I also just think that them at a festival makes sense. Their music is very like hype, even if you don't know it. Like, it's just good. The next one is a deeper cut. It's FT Island, which is a K band. They're actually my first K band. They debuted the year before I got into K-pop. So they're older, but they're so good. So good. I'm obsessed with their lead vocalist. I think his voice is just incredible. And if I don't see them before I die, my life is over. The next one I kind of cheated, not in the sense of like all 5 members of One Direction cheated, but cheated in the sense that I've seen them before. However, it's SHINee. But when I saw them, it was only 3 members, because Jinky has been on indefinite, that's the word I was looking for, an indefinite hiatus for various medical reasons. He is my favorite member. He's also my favorite K-pop idol in general. He is the love of my life in the most non-delusional way I can say that. I need to see Jinky live or I'm going to die. And then my final one is Big Bang. I need to see Daesung live. I need to see Top live or I'm going to die. I am going to die. I'm sincerely hoping that now that G-Dragon has seemingly signed with Warner, that means that we'll get new music, and that new music means that we'll get new tour. I need it. I'm crazy. This is my little moment of like, I cry myself to sleep over this. Taeyang from Big Bang came to Atlanta in 2017, and I was like, okay, I could see Big Bang, but I just have a feeling that SHINee's going to tour soon. I just have a feeling. I was like, it's been a year since their last tour. It's been a year since their last album. That means probably album, possibly tour. Fingers crossed. And Jonghyun passed away 2 months later, and I was like, okay, so one of my favorite members of my favorite band is now gone. They're not going to tour anytime soon. And I didn't see Taeyang. That's me watering down my emotions so heavily. I was distraught. I was devastated. But I was like, months and months later, once I'd already coped with the initial like grieving, I was like, I could have seen Taeyang. Damn it. Like, I love being Gen Z and being able to laugh at things that were highly traumatic. That was a terrible, terrible experience.
So that is the end of our podcast, episode 2, guys. Super excited. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us talk about fandom and all the different various topics that we talked about today. If you have any like topic suggestions or anything that you guys would like us to know that you kind of like were thinking throughout the podcast, definitely leave a comment below. We would love to hear them. Also, like, put in your dream like festival set list. Like, that would be really great. I want to know what you guys would like to have as a festival lineup. I think it's so fascinating to kind of get into like your brain a little bit, because we all like different kinds of music, and kind of putting together a mishmash of genres I think would be really cool. But yeah, and then also you guys can always join our Discord. We're there 24/7. I will put the link down in the description box down below. And then you guys can come join us and talk about pop culture, and to basically talk about what we talked on the podcast. Like, we're there 24/7, all day, all night, all the time, talk about everything. So yeah, thank you guys for watching or listening or wherever you get your podcasts, and we will see you next time.